Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? LiveWire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't wanna miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats, you know that we gotta run it back. Whether on the field or the court, you know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is LiveWire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.
What's good, Chicago Bulls fans? All right, man. In the game when you had the women's national championship between the LSU Tigers and the Iowa Hawkeyes, but the most important game was the Chicago Bulls versus the Memphis Grizzlies, which the Chicago Bulls lost to the Memphis Grizzlies earlier this year. Now, Chicago was down at halftime to the Grizzlies pretty big, but they stormed back in the second half. DeMar capped off a 14-0 run by the Bulls to go on to cut the lead, the Memphis lead from 23. So they stormed back from 23 points, in which they was able to ride the shoulders of Zach and DeMar, which both of them had over 30. Zach had 36, DeMar had 31. Zach had 9 assists, which was pretty good for him. Also, Kobe White had 19 points in the game. He had 19 points. He had 6 rebounds. Had 4 assists. Patrick Williams chipped in with 12. Caruso had 4. Derrick Jones had 4. Sumo had 2. Don't know what's going on with Ayo, but he's been playing. I guess been using defense and everything else. Vvash had 13 points. He had a double-double. But Patrick Beverly, he's defense specialist, so you're not going to expect for him to score too much. But nevertheless, these guys was very, very, very captivating. They was doing the things that they needed to do. And this is where the Bulls, you really wanted to know how the Bulls would respond from getting punched in the mouth. You know what I'm saying? They got punched in the mouth early, and then, they had to respond because Memphis is a really good team. Jared Jackson Jr. had 31 points, but the Grizzlies, they gave up a large lead. They got off because got to think Memphis do get off to these hot starts, and sometimes when they get off to a hot start, it kind of plays in their favor. But they had a 23-point lead against the Bulls midway through the second quarter and everything. But Memphis played with the same pace in the third, but no turnovers and missed some easy shots. And the Bulls started feasting and going into transition, which they was able to take their first lead late in the game in the third quarter. So they kind of chipped away. Now the Ja Morant only had 17. And like I said, Jared Jackson Jr. had 31, and but nevertheless, you got to credit the Chicago Bulls because the Chicago Bulls had no answer for Zach and DeMar, and this is where me personally I feel like now that this is where Chicago was supposed to look like last year with Lonzo before he got hurt. They was very high on defense. They was doing the things that they needed to do, and everything like that, and so. With Zach working the mid, DeMar working the mid, and Zach he could shoot from 3, penetrate, or hit mid range, and they just didn't have no answer for them. Memphis Bulls outscored Memphis 31-3 in points off of turnovers. Pretty doggone good, if you ask me. That's pretty doggone good. You got to look at the stat line. The Bulls were shooting 53% from the field, really bad from 3-point line. They was 9 for 31. They was good from the free throw line, 86% to Memphis, 83. Like I said, Memphis had 18 turnovers. Guess how many turnovers the Bulls had in this game? 1. When was the last time that we ever seen the Bulls have almost none to 1 turnover? a long time, very long time. The Bulls, they both had 29 assists. Memphis out-rebounded them, had 8 offensive rebounds to their 4. Bulls had 6 block shots, 9 steals, only 13 personal fouls to their 22 personal fouls. And that all goes for that all goes to Zach and DeMar getting to the line. These guys get to the line. They get to the line, and these are the things that you have to do to be consistent. You know what I'm saying? If you look at the box scores, or if you look at the scoring by quarter, Memphis was in the first quarter. Memphis had 36 points to 25 in the first quarter. Then they went on a 32 to 28. The Bulls scored 40 points in the third quarter to 16. That is a phenomenal turnaround. Phenomenal turnaround. And then it turns around and beat the Grizzlies by 21 points. So you erase a 23-point deficit to come back and have a 40-point third quarter game and to beat your opponent by 21. That's, especially with the turnovers they had, you're not going to win games like that. You're going to give up leads. Then the Bulls almost had another 40-point quarter because they had 35 in the fourth. So these are the things that, if the Bulls could, and I have to say this, Coby White has been playing phenomenal. He has been playing phenomenal, and he's becoming that two-way guy. And now, if Ayo could join him and start playing, I think it would help a whole lot. Also, I think it would help a whole lot. So, hats off to the Bulls, man. They definitely played the way they needed to play. They got everything executed the way they needed to get it executed. You can't ask for anything more, because now that the Bulls, you got to think the Bulls is what? I think they 10th. They could still crawl in the 8th spot. Let me see what else there is. Like I said, Zach had 9 assists. Coby had 19. But Coby White and also DeMar converted on 3-point plays. Ayo drove for an easy layup. And the game was kind of tight because it was Bulls had 104 to 99 at that point midway through the fourth quarter. But then the Bulls went on an 11-0 run. And then after that, you couldn't do nothing. So with that being said, if you look at where the Bulls at right now, especially when it comes to the play-in tournament, they sit 10th. Now, could they move up? Who knows? To a little bit spot. They 38-40. Depends on what happens tonight. Toronto loses or Atlanta loses, they could move into the 8-9 spot. That would be good for them. Now, the Bulls do play the next game Chicago they play Atlanta Hawks on Tuesday, and then they have a back-to-back with the Milwaukee Bucks. Then they close out with Dallas Maverick and the Pistons, so they should win. I said they could they win this game. They pretty much, I don't think the Bucks really will do anything. So if you look at it, I say the Bulls will win the last 1, 2, 3, 4 games. That should get them, especially if they beat Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? So if you look at the standings for tonight and see who all plays, the Raptors won, so they still there. Hawks battling the Mavericks right now. So if the Hawks loses, the Bulls will move up to 9th, and then they got them on Tuesday, and they could solidify that. If they could get into the 8th spot, that depends on what the Raptors do from here. But and again, man, the Bulls you know, they made the playoffs last year. Now they fighting to get in the play-in, and it all because if they had, me personally, I still say if they had went and got Patrick Beverley last year, the Chicago Bulls to going into this season would have been a little bit better rounded, you know. And then, you know, they was worrying about Lonzo coming back. They never figure out the starting point guard. They used Alex and Zumo, and then that didn't work anymore because that was a surprise. You got to think, Ayo DeSumo was a surprise last year. So players going, you know, teams going to pick up on him. He's not having a great season like he did last year. You know, he's been struggling a little bit this year. But Kobe has come on. You know what I'm saying? We ain't had Javonte Green most of this season. You know, Derrick Jones been in and out of the lineup. Derrick Drummond has played very, very well. Me personally, I still say if the Bulls could move Drummond to that starting spot and find a young center that could come off the bench and give them energy and stuff, me personally, I will ride with Drummond until you don't need him no more. I would have Drummond on the roster for about 2 years. Drummond plays hard. He runs the floor and everything. He gets good rebounds. He plays defense. You just need another young talent center behind him to give him a break. You know what I'm saying? I think it's time to move off from Vooch. I think Vooch plays when he wants to play. He doesn't play consistently like he needs to play. But that's a topic for a whole nother day. But anyway, great comeback for the Bulls. Let's see you can get this win against the Atlanta Hawks on Tuesday night. And then, you know, on ESPN, you play the Bucks. That's gonna be exciting because then you can have somebody like Patrick Beverley in it. So we'll see. I think it's gonna be a good game. We should beat the Milwaukee now. And then if we get in the play-in and win our play-in game and get into the playoffs, then we should be able to make some noise. We'll give some teams some challenge. But until then, one step at a time. Until then, go Bulls. See Red. I'm out.